and thank you for joining me for another episode of the Trans 101 series. Today I'm going to be talking about sex. So yes, this video may be a little bit explicit, so if you are a parent or a friend or an acquaintance, just understand that, because I don't want to confuse anyone, and I want to be as open as I can so that everyone can kind of understand the concept of sex and trans people having sex. So did you know that trans people have sex? Oh, that's a thing. And did you know that other people don't mind having sex with trans people? Oh. Alright, have a great day, bye. I'm kidding. So there have been myths out there that either people don't want to sleep with people who are trans, or that trans people don't want to sleep with other people because they are so uncomfortable with their bodies. I'm here to tell you that these are myths, alright? There are a lot of people who fetishize trans people and only want to sleep with trans people because they're trans. Then there are also people who really don't mind that you're trans and kind of embrace that you're trans and are just like, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. And also there are a lot of trans people who are very comfortable with their bodies, or who are somewhat comfortable with their bodies and still act in a sexual manner and have sex with partners. So in this video I'm going to talk a little bit about STIs, a little bit about how trans people have sex, and a little bit about the type of prosthetics that trans men and gender non-conforming / non-binary trans masc folk may use. I actually made 2 videos a while ago about STIs for trans men, where I talk about gonorrhea and chlamydia and HIV, and I talk about how they're transmitted and what they are, and how to be careful, and how to protect yourself. So instead of talking about that in this video, I will link those. I would highly recommend looking at those, because it's just, it's sex ed, but it's taught by a trans person, and it's talked about in a trans perspective for trans bodies. So a lot of sex ed that is available now really just focuses on genitals and like vagina equals woman. That's problematic for a lot of trans people because they don't want to associate that with their genitals. So what I try to do is be more open and talk about genitals instead of gender. So that's what I do, so please take a look at those videos. I'll link them below. So I'm gonna focus mostly on trans men and trans masc individuals because that's what I am. I am not a trans woman. I can't talk about how trans women have sex and what trans women are comfortable with. I also can't represent the entire trans community. I am a very open person. I talk about sex a lot. I review a lot of prosthetics and a lot of dildos and stuff like that for trans men. So I am someone who's very open. Not everyone is as open as I am, but I'm here to just talk to you just a little bit about sex and how trans people can have sex. So if you're a partner of a trans person, you would like to have sex with them and you just don't know what to do, all right? Quickly, I will tell you that you just need to listen to your partner and you need to ask questions. The most important thing you could ever do if you're sleeping with anyone is ask, what do you like? Because there's such a thing as communication. A lot of people don't have that when they're having sex, and it's super important to make sure that everyone's on the same page, everything is consensual, and that you're actually doing something that the person likes. I've met a lot of trans people who have told me that they've slept with cis men or cis women and trans women, also non-binary, everyone in the past, even trans men, and they weren't able to vocalize, oh, I actually really don't like when you touch me there, and instead they just kind of feel very uncomfortable and very dysphoric. This is something that I'm trying to get people to avoid. I would like there to be a crazy amount of communication, so when I'm sleeping with someone, I either tell them right away, I'm like, hey, I don't like this, don't do that, please do this, I really like this if you're comfortable with that. That's what I like to do, to make sure that I'm getting the most out of this encounter and that I'm happy and that the person is happy. And that just produces like such a great way of communicating, even if it's a hookup. Even if it's some grinder hookup, I'm like, don't do that. And if they do it, get out of my house. You know what I'm saying? So for example, there are a lot of trans men who bind their chest before they have top surgery. Some trans men are comfortable taking off their shirt and their binder during sex. Some are comfortable with you touching their breasts. Others are absolutely not. Some people wear t-shirts and they'll wear t-shirts forever until they have top surgery, and that's fine. And then there are other trans men who are also very comfortable with their genitals, where they really embrace the genitals that they have and they like to be penetrated in the hole that they have, and they like to have sex with other people and to have those genitals that they have touched and all of that thing, even before they have bottom surgery, even if they don't want bottom surgery. So there are trans people on the spectrum everywhere. Some people are super comfortable, some people will never have sex, some people are asexual. We can't not talk about people who are asexual. There are people who are trans and who are asexual. It doesn't mean that they're asexual because they're trans, and it doesn't mean they're trans because they're asexual. It's nothing like that. There are some asexual people who do have sex. There are some who are sex repulsed that don't want to have sex, and that's okay as well. So if you meet a trans person, you're getting along, you want to get to know them, even if you're trans yourself, very good idea to have a line of communication. Obviously on your first date, don't like give them wine and be like, so what do you like in bed? You know, that's kind of awkward. Or like, do you have a dick? Don't do that. Please God, don't do that. But instead, when you're having open communication and you know that it, you know, might lead to the bedroom soon or that night, quick check-in. Be like, hey, we're like in the moment, and I just want to make sure, like, what do you like? And I know that for some people that can seem like, that kind of ruins the moment, but honestly, it will make the moment so much better. And it will make the moment so much better because everyone will be happy with what's going on and what's happening. A very good example of this is I have actually met a lot of trans men who are gay and who sleep with cis men and who are tops. And they'll meet a person at a bar and at a club, and it'll go really great, and the person knows that they're trans, and then like, okay, let's go home and have sex. The cis man who is gay almost always assumes that the trans person is a bottom. And that assumption is very strange, and I've talked about this in the past about FTMs topping cis guys, and that's such an important thing to not overlook, honestly, because if you had that conversation, you know, and be like, actually, I'm a top, and I sleep with men who are okay with that, and I use a prosthetic, or I had phalloplasty, I had bottom surgery, or something like that, that open line of communication helps so much in the event that's gonna happen later on. So if you have somebody in your life that's trans and kind of struggling with this aspect of sex and how to have sex and will people ever have sex with me, it is very important to show them that it's a possibility. And by that I mean like show them videos of people like me, for example, who talk so openly about sex and talk about other public figures in the trans community who are also trans and who also talk about being so sex positive and talking about sex and sex ed and really embracing their body. And I feel very empowered when I'm having sex because the partners that I have know what I like, know what I want, know what I don't want, and it just, there's no like, ooh, I don't want that, are they gonna touch, ooh, are they gonna do that, are they gonna do that, ooh, and then they do it and you're like, oh, this is ruining everything, I don't know what to do I tell them to stop? Have the conversation before, it makes everything so much easier. And I'm talking about that with like people who are also gonna have sex with trans people. I'm not just talking about trans people like being like, hey, like what do you like? It's not always on us, all right? It's not always on us to do that. It's a good thing to have a communication, and if you're a cis person about to have sex with a trans person, it is also good if you wanna start the line of communication, be like, hey, I just wanna make sure like, what are you okay with? And honestly, I feel like when cis people are aware of that and like ask and have an open communication, it's so well received, and it's wow. Okay, wow, okay, wow, this is gonna happen. I'm actually gonna have fun. It's gonna be great, wow. I think it's really great to do that. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about prosthetics that trans men, non-binary, transmasc individuals may use during sex. And I'm gonna show you 4 different ones. I have a lot, honestly, and I've reviewed so many of them. I'll put the playlist in this description below so you can have a look. But I'm gonna show you 4 main ones that have different features that might be good. And I'm showing you as a partner who may want to talk to your partner about, you know, getting one of these because that's what they want, they don't know what to do, well, you have this video. Or if you're a trans person and you're thinking, oh, I don't know what, you know, prosthetic to use for sex, I'm gonna show you 4 of my favorite ones. So disclaimer, I'm about to show some prosthetic penises, all right? So this is a prosthetic here that is very thin. Now the reason I'm showing you this one is because on this side over here it has ridges. So when the person wearing it is wearing it in a harness, this part will actually rub on their genitals and it'll feel really great. This also has a spot here for a vibrating bullet. So this will actually feel good for, this is vibrating, for the person who's wearing it with the harness because it'll rub on their genitals, and it'll also feel good for the person who's being penetrated because it vibrates inside. And I will link you to all of the prosthetics in the description below, and this is the Fuze. Quick tip, very good for first time anal, very thin, very good. Anyways, the next one I'm gonna show you is this one over here by the New York Toy Collective. This is the Ellis, and it is uncut, and it has a very dense core, but it feels very realistic, and it actually has a suction cup as well. So you don't even have to use this in a harness and do it with a partner. You can actually, you know, put this on a wall and do things with yourself and all of that stuff. But this is also a very good prosthetic. It is a bit longer than the Fuze that I showed you, but this is another one of my favorite ones. It's very good and very realistic. And I've decided to show you realistic ones because a lot of trans men do want that, but there are also a ton that aren't realistic and are purple and have different patterns on them, and a lot of people like that. So the next one that I'm gonna show you is actually called a 3-in-1, okay, prosthetic. So it's 3-in-1 because you can have sex with this, okay, because there is a rod inside, all right, so you can penetrate someone with this, but if you take the rod out, actually this is a 4-in-1, if you take the rod out, it is a packer. So you wear this in your pants to imitate a bulge in your pants, and then you can also urinate out of it. So there's a cup, and you put it under, and then the urine goes. I've made videos about all of these products in this series, so I'll link those below. And I said this is a 4-in-1 because it also has this part here that rubs on the wearer's genitals, so it actually also feels great as well. And then the final one is my favorite one, and I'm gonna leave it for last because this is the one that has changed my life and my sex life forever. I have never had such good sex in my entire life than with this prosthetic. This is called the Bono by Transthetics, all right? And I have done 2 reviews of this baby. It looks strange, and like, how does the harness go? Please look at the video where I talk about it because it'll be long, but this is very good because it's hard, it has a vibrate so that the wearer, me, feels the vibration, but it really, it works well with my body and I feel everything with it. And what's also really good with this is that it has a little reservoir at the tip, so you can put some lube in there or something that looks like semen, and when you squirt it, it comes out, which is very realistic. And a very big disconnect that I have with a lot of these toys is that they don't feel like me. And because they don't feel like me, I don't feel like they belong to me, and it's not part of me, and I'm not having as much fun. With this, because it squirts, I don't have a disconnect. This feels like it's part of my body, and that is so reaffirming and so amazing to hear. So in the reviews that I've done about this, there have been actually moms that have said, thank you so much for this review, I'm gonna get this for my teen because they really want this, which I think is really awesome that, you know, that's happened, because my videos are age restricted when I talk about prosthetics like this, which is very sad because there are people who are under 18 who would like prosthetics and who have dysphoria during sex. We're 2017. Come on, you think 18-year-olds and under 18 aren't having sex? Like somebody who's 16, 17, this could be life-changing for them. So that's all I want to say for that. So the last thing I'm gonna talk about is basically talking to a trans person right now, all right? Trans guy, trans woman, non-binary, squiggly line, whatever you are, doesn't matter. It is okay to like your body, and it is okay to not like your body. And it is okay to be a sexual person, and it is okay to not be a sexual person. If you are trans, and I have met a lot of trans people who repress their sexuality a lot because they feel like no one will want to have sex with them and no one will want to be with them, and it's very sad to see that, honestly. And it's just so empowering to see them flourish after seeing other trans people who are sex positive. So I'm not like calling myself like the sex god of trans people. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that it is amazing to see that some of the videos that I have made about sex and how open I am with sex, I get so many comments from people being like, this is something I'm not comfortable talking about, but watching your videos makes me more comfortable and I'm able to tell my partner what I want and what I don't want. And then other people talk about the prosthetics that I've reviewed and they feel more comfortable in their bodies, and other people talk about how they're asexual and they're not gonna have sex, but the videos still open their mind to a world that they're not a part of, and it's very interesting. So I think that me being so open to sex and talking about sex positive things and not being ashamed at all about sex, because you shouldn't be ashamed. Even if you're trans and even if you have dysphoria, you can still have sex. I have bottom dysphoria sometimes, and honestly it's very bad, but yet I still enjoy being penetrated in that area because it's my body and I like the feeling, and I feel empowered when I'm okay with my body even if I have dysphoria. Alright, that's it for sex. I mean, that's not it. I could say a lot more about this topic, but I'll keep it short for this video. I hope this helped a little bit. I touched on a little bit of subjects. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below, and I'll put links that I talked about in this video, everything down there in the description. And I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you for another episode soon. Have a great day. Bye.